Ed, something, Ed, that me as a person brought up in a family not my own, something that has scared me. By the way, Gabriel is throwing a tantrum because I brought him home from the play area straight without taking him to those shops to buy those disgusting, snacks and coated nuts and all that kind of shit. Yeah, he's really pissed off now. Anyway, Ed, so if he screams, don't panic. So the thing is, Ed, every now and then, Ed, over the years, as I've tried to find the true me, Ed, which is a healthy, normal person, Ed, and not the absolute psycho, demonic, Ed, group that I was supposed to be part of. In my journey, Ed, there have been days, Ed, when I stood in front of the bathroom mirror and I got terrified because I saw patterns in me, in my face, literally in the features of my face, and Ed, in my in my body, Ed, symptoms in my body, Ed, that mimicked those entities. And Ed, some of them, Ed, officially as well were not related to me. Like right, that some of them I was told were my own family till I was 23, and my dad told me the truth, which my granddad then later confirmed and gave me more information. But Ed, there were those, Ed, that were like teachers in school and friends, Ed, friends remotely not related to me. And I would see, Ed, like patterns of them, Ed, showing up in me over the years. And Ed, this led me into a whole exploration, Ed, into how patterns that are not of a human naturally could be made to manifest, Ed, in our bodies and in our psyches as well. Like the tendency to depression, various psychological tendencies, Ed, or states of being. Wow, someone is really angry. Anyway, so at various states of being, Ed, that did not match my spiritual reality. Because, Ed, all along, Ed, like since I saw you, Ed, in 2004, my reality, Ed, has been of love. Because, Ed, whether you receive love back from others visibly or not, when you fall in love, when you meet the one that you love, when love awakens within you, and Ed, that can happen at any time for anybody, Ed. They can just discover, Ed, that they have got their soulmate. The realization can just arise, Ed, at any time. And once that arises, Ed, you're in a state of love. And then you wonder, what the hell are these other patterns that I have that are anti-love, that don't seem to believe that somebody really can love me? You know what I mean? That don't, like, why, if there is such love in me, I myself am the proof that this kind of love exists. Because if it's in me, then it can be in anyone, right? And my granddad told me, Ed, he said that the concept of love, Ed, involves two bodies. Because love, Ed, is an outflow of energy from you to another. Of course, there is such a thing as self-love, but that's actually self-enjoyment. We don't have to sit and, kiss our own foot or kiss our own hand and say, I love you, baby. You know what I mean? You just don't do that. You just enjoy your own body. That's love. You take care of your body. That's yourself. That's what they call self-love. That's actually self-enjoyment. But love essentially means an outflow of the soul, of the heart, from one body to another. It means two bodies. And Granddad told me, he said that if you have love in you, There is that exact same matching love out there, because without that, your love doesn't exist. And so, and I am in this state, and then I wonder that if I'm in this state of love, now what are these other emotions that I go? What's with the depression, suicidal tendencies, all these other states that are not matching my spiritual reality. And so I went into a big exploration, Ed. And why I'm telling you about this, Ed, is I want to say that there are many kinds, Ed, of demonic possession. And as humans, Ed, we are not aware of the various means, Ed, by which these demonic energy patterns, Ed, which, Ed, can become absolute egoic identities. We're not aware, Ed, of by the way, Ed, this protest here is only going to get louder because he thinks that I'm shirking my duties of taking him to buy snacks, just chatting with you at the window. Anyway, Ed, so the thing is, Ed, that there are many kinds of demonic possession and the methods by which this happen. So this is something I discovered, Ed, that I've not heard I've not heard anyone talk about the particular type that I want to tell you about. Now, Ed, that the fake population is run by demons, everybody knows that. The fake population, Ed, they don't have an original soul, Ed, that will resist demonic possession. So they are bastards, Ed. It's not like they're a good person with bastardly tendencies. You know what I mean? They they are evil bastards, and that is who they are. They do not have resistance to that. And so all these missionaries, I was one of them, and going and trying to make people find the Lord and find the joy of giving and all that. It's all bullshit, because they're a demon in a lab made artificial body. It's as good as a silicone bag. That's what I like to call them. I call them silicone bags, Ed. I have had the unfortunate experience of trying to have sex with one of them, and Ed, he used to sweat, and his sweat had no human emanation at all. That kind of emptiness. I was like, what the fuck is this? It was, Ed, like melted silicone dripping. I was like, there is just nothing. You know what I mean. I think all adult males would understand, and females would know what I mean. The sweat was empty. That was one horrific experience, and I never forget it, Ed, because that was the moment, Ed, when I realized what is emptiness. Emptiness. And Ed, I want to tell you, Ed, that there's no resistance, Ed, in those kind of bodies, but what we would call as demonic possession is where there is resistance to an foreign energy pattern. And now this is a really strange topic, Ed, because, Ed, let's leave the soulless out of this. Among souls, Ed, there are actually extraterrestrial souls who are also traditionally, like the word demon, Ed, or came from daemon, which is Daemon, which actually is an extraterrestrial, Ed. And they are extraterrestrials, Ed, but they are souls too. And we, Ed, we humans, we have also gone to other, and we are right now, Ed, all over the universe, Ed. Like, this is the process of the growth of the universe. This is how energies move from one universe to another universe. So, Ed, they are also souls, but they are not as in love and entangled with the earth as us, and they have a longing, Ed, to go back to where they came from. Now, Ed, we have this spectrum of souls, Ed, and among these souls, Ed, are souls, Ed, that are actually deviated from a way of being where they can tap into earth energy. And these deviant beings, Ed, they are the ones, Ed, who are parasites. And the none of them, Ed, are human, because we are in our own environment, but these are actually extraterrestrials, Ed. And the reason why they can't tap in, Ed, here is because their time to go has come, but life was so cushy here, or they didn't want to, face up the challenges that they would have to go back to their own place or move to the next place, that they didn't want to move it. They got static. They just got comfortable. They don't want to move, and so they've become parasites. And these parasite beings get at literally so cut off from natural everything that they live off other living beings. And Ed, there was a time when they could do this, Ed, through spiritual connection. But now they have lost their, vital force which they were living off, Ed. And so what's happened, Ed, is that they have to use physical ways of demonic possession. And that's what I want to tell you about, Ed. And this is the thing, Ed, that this might be so controversial, Ed, but it's true. So, Ed, everybody knows that parasites, Ed, in the human body, Ed, these are a known form of witchcraft. A lot, Ed, of the products, Ed, that we eat and all of that, like supermarket products and all of these, a lot of them are actually, they carry the energy patterns that call, Ed, that call these demonic entities, parasitical demonic energy patterns, that like from out of the air. For example, Ed, if you eat a certain kind of product and then you go walking in places where there are lots of others who are carrying those patterns, you'll catch the pattern. And Ed, I've seen this a lot, Ed, as I traveled around a lot. There are some places, Ed, where you can be vegetarian without a problem. And there are some places, Ed, where you cannot be like, you start getting attracted, Ed, to stuff that you would not at all be attracted to if you were in another environment. I mean, literally, some places are so demonic, Ed, that you'll find normal people, Ed, beginning, I have seen, Ed, a person that I knew, and I can't say was a human or whatever, but starting to get criminal tendencies to sexually abuse children, which he knew was illegal. Okay, let's not go into more than illegal. He definitely didn't want to do it, but he start getting the urge to do it. And what I'm saying, Ed, is that there are places and then there are foods, and Ed, they have this whole festivals, Ed, of demons, where they promote certain colors associated with certain places and certain foods. And this is a long, millennia long old traditions, Ed, of coming into a certain frequency in which a certain demon can possess you. And Ed, things happen there. And you know what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, kind of thing. So they go to these high places on these festival days, Ed, they do all kinds of stuff. All kinds of shit happens, and then they go back and pretend it never happened, because Ed, they're now like a split character. They're actually demon possessed. So demons that have gotten energy from souls through these means, Ed, over the millennia. But now, Ed, as we're coming closer and closer to our time, this kind of thing isn't working anymore. Like, I can tell you that no longer, Ed, do the products like the processed foods, they don't have, Ed, the effect that they used to in, say, 1990. In 1990, Ed, I could eat like top ramen noodles, Ed, and I would have a consciousness shift. After eating that noodles, I would want to watch certain kinds of, I would want to watch certain kinds of certain frequency movies, and I would have a mild depression, associated with it, and a kind of a, it would be a kind of a low-key depression at that. Eating noodles every day, would make in me. But I don't find that anymore. I get irritated now. That's just that's all. But I want to tell you, Ed, of the thing, Ed, that I'm seeing now that is the biggest threat. And that, Ed, is they're directly putting RNA, Ed. I mean, I don't know, Ed, the scientific thing, and I'm saying RNA, Ed, because my spirit told me this term, which is different from DNA. DNA, Ed, is unexpressed energy fields. I'm telling you my personal interpretation, Ed. This is not got from any textbook, and I don't care, Ed, what anybody else, what their theory is. I'm telling you how I see it myself. DNA, Ed, is like giving you suggestions of you could do this, you could do this, you could do this. So all this time, Ed, DNA, Ed, from fetuses and all of that was being put in all these processed foods, and it's in the water and it's all over the place. Now what I'm seeing is RNA, and RNA is different, Ed, in that it is Ed, tissue from expressed energy fields. As in, they got it, Ed, from someone who's a manifested demon, an actual demonic energy field possessed a being, and then they took that flesh, the water of that being, or of that body, and then they put it in. And Ed, I'm seeing, Ed, how they are coordinating that, Ed, with a sort of what do you call it, Ed? Stamping authority, Ed, on beings, Ed, like me and like you. I'm seeing them, Ed, use it like date rape kind of chemicals, where they put it in people's drinks, and the person starts feeling like somebody else and telecasting that there's someone else, behaving, Ed, in a, almost like what you would call bipolar disorder sort of thing. And Ed, I became aware of this, Ed, because I used to find that at certain times of the year, when particular entities would come around doing rituals, I would find that when I look in the mirror in the bathroom, that I have some kind of feature, like some kind of energy field thing I'm throwing out of that entity. And I was like, what, how? And then I began to realize that they put it in the water at that particular time. And I'll tell you that it's so simple that when you become aware that this is being done and that this can be done to you, and you just snap out of it. It just stops affecting you. This is what happened to me. It just stopped affecting me. Now and then I find that tendency comes up, but then I'm aware of it. And it sounds like a very huge and horrible problem, Ed. But at the end of the day, Ed, just our knowledge that this does happen, it starts showing us that around which person we start behaving like somebody else. You know what I mean? So you know that in some way you've been given that RNA. It's on something you've touched, the doorknob, the key, the table, or something they gave you to eat. So you start putting two and two together. And the thing I want to say is that if you behave or you feel like you're another person or you're very different from your spiritual reality, just don't be afraid to call it possession, because that's better than believing the lie that you are, somebody evil. A soul is never evil. A soul is a child of this universe. We fit in perfectly in this divine cycle of life. We fit in perfectly. We have nothing but love for each other. Nothing, Ed, but love for each other. The reality, Ed, between any two human beings, Ed, is infinite, complete love. Because, Ed, we are the children of the same parents. We are come from the same heart. The same fire is in each one of us, Ed. See another human, Ed, you just want to love them. You see a dog, we want to love the dog. We love the giraffe, we love the tree, we love the cloud, we love everything. This is us. And if something is not that, Ed, we shouldn't feel afraid to know that that is a rogue pattern. We could have picked it up through identification or association like I did, but then those are suggestions. And if it's stronger than that, Ed, we should know that we're being poisoned, and we shouldn't be afraid, Ed, of that. We should know that when we are aware, that we can come back into our center and choose to live and walk according to our spiritual reality. The big loophole, Ed, is when, for whatever reason, usually out of fear, we feel that we won't survive if we live, if we walk the talk, if we live according to our spiritual reality. We feel like, oh my God, we're just going to stick out in this population, and, oh, they're just going to surround us and kill us. I'm someone who they do surround and do try to kill. And I'm telling you, at the end of the day, they can't really, like, forget it, don't be scared of it, whatever. We're eternal beings. Just don't give a shit. Just reclaim that joy of being yourself. That joy that you get, it, every human deserves it. That joy, and when you believe you're doing something that you believe in doing, oh my God, that is the kick, Ed. That is the thrill, Ed. That's the juice of life, Ed, which we deserve. We really deserve it. All right, my darling, I'll stop. This has gotten long now.